राहुल गांधी, आपको देश के खिलाफ इस पाप के लिए देश की जनता से माफी मांगनी ही होगी।
आपसे माफी मांगने की मांग कर रहे हैं राहुल जी, सब लोग कह रहे हैं माफी मांगो।
खुद ही वो पहले से एंटी नेशनल है और कोई माफी मांगने का सवाल नहीं है। हम जमकर उत्तर इसमें पार्लियामेंट में देंगे। राहुल गांधी जी को अगर मौका मिला तो जरूर सारी बातें वहां पर बताएंगे।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. It has been 5 days of a complete washout in Parliament. There has been no movement on the legislative agenda as the battle lines have been drawn on the floor of the House over Rahul Gandhi's remarks in the United Kingdom, where he claimed that Indian democracy was being threatened by the BJP, accusing the Modi government of capturing all democratic institutions to maintain its hold on power. After days of protests and ruckus, both the Houses of Parliament were adjourned for the week and will reconvene on Monday. The BJP continues to demand an apology from Rahul Gandhi, but the Congress MP has made it clear he will not say sorry. In fact, Rahul Gandhi has renewed his offensive against the BJP, rallying the opposition for a JPC probe into the Adani matter. Rahul Gandhi has accused the BJP of being spooked by his words, while the BJP has made its Maafi Mango campaign a national one on the road to 2024. In fact, BJP chief JP Nadda raised the demand once again in poll-bound Karnataka while addressing a rally in Chitradurga. After 5 days, is it clear now that the parliamentary agenda is on the back burner? Is the political war the main agenda ahead of the crucial elections both inside and outside Parliament? As the BJP plays on the front foot with its nationalism card, has Congress miscalculated the public resonance of the Adani matter? Is the opposition unity we are seeing in Parliament just a matter of optics? We will pose all those questions to our guests, but first, a piece of breaking news that is coming in. As he held a meeting with West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav sends a message to the Congress, says his stand is to maintain distance from the Congress to defeat the BJP. Kamalika Sen Gupta is joining us live. Kamalika, so another axis perhaps emerging, and this one has Akhilesh Yadav and Mamata Banerjee, both of them training their guns on the Congress, besides the one that we are seeing happen between BRS and Aam Aadmi Party targeting the Congress.
Yeah, absolutely. This seems to be another axis. Now, what do we name it? Is it third front or a third block? Something like this is obviously cooking up as Akhilesh Yadav meets today Mamata Banerjee. More than 1 hour they meet with each other. And what we are getting it from the sources that a common minimum united effort, that's what they have discussed on. And they have discussed on the high-handed nature of central agency and all those things. But both of them has agreed to this, and we have Sudip Bandyopadhyay of TMC who said it on record that Congress cannot act as a big boss or a big brother. So all the regional parties, whoever is powerful in whichever state, they will fight and they will support each other, and then after 2024, who will be the actual leader, that will come out. But Congress may be in that front, but they cannot be the big boss. Now, equal distance between BJP and Congress, which are the parties that are keeping this distance? TMC, AAP, Samajwadi Party, Akhilesh Yadav spoke to RJD. Mamata Banerjee next week is going to meet Naveen Patnaik, and they will be targeting those disgruntled NDA allies. That's what Sudip Bandyopadhyay said today. So is there another third block coming up which is going to put their guns on BJP as well as Congress? Now how that is
third block or the fourth block or perhaps no block? Kamalika, really appreciate your time. Let me bring in my guests at this hour. Sanju Verma, BJP National Spokesperson. We have Shravati Palwai, who is a Congress spokesperson. Sanjay Jha, former Congress leader and political analyst. We also have Anurag Badoria, Samajwadi Party leader, and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, senior fellow, Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies. Sanju Verma, how and when will the parliament function?
Maria, let's be very honest that the two wheels of parliament need to be well oiled. And one is the ruling party in power, the BJP in this case, and of course the opposition. Now, unfortunately, driven by their visceral hatred for Narendra Modi, the only time I see the opposition coming together is when they have to sloganeer saying Modi Adani bhai bhai, Modi hatao, Desh bachao. It would have been juvenile had it not been so funny, because the opposition fails to realize that without a common minimum program, without an ideology, without giving something to the Janta by way of deliverables, simply saying Narendra Modi ko hatao, Amit Shah ko hatao, JP Nadda ko hatao, this is not going to stick with the Aam Janta, because they are far smarter than that. Coming to the fact that the BJP is demanding an apology, and I see, I've been on zillions of debates in the last 1 week or so on this particular issue, and I just have this to say. Congress spokespersons are coming on television channels and saying, Arey, Rahul Gandhi simply said democracy is a public good, and if democracy is weakened in India, it will be weakened elsewhere on the planet. Fine. So far, so good. But let me tell the Congressies not to have selective amnesia and not to quote conveniently from Rahul Gandhi. He's on record saying, why are the US and the European Union so oblivious to the fact that a large chunk of democracy has come undone
all this
in
is
India?
fine. All this is fine. The question is that how will he apologize if he is not allowed to speak in parliament?
Let me be very clear. Maria, you are such a seasoned journalist. Forget question hour. We all know that burning issues are taken up during question hour, but they have to be listed at least 24 to 48 hours in advance, as per Rule 32, Rule 376 and 377 of the procedures of Lok Sabha. I want to ask the opposition, each time the government, be it inflation, be it demonetization, be it jobs, be it Pegasus, be it Ram Mandir, be it Rafale, if you notice, there is a pattern. They say that we want to apologize, we want to have a constructive discussion, but the moment the treasury benches start speaking, I remember 48 hours back, Piyush Goyal was saying, let me first complete, we'll give you the opportunity to respond. Okay. I recall Jagdeep Dhankar with folded hands telling the opposition benches to calm down.
Chaliye, Shravanti Palwai, I want to understand, is the Congress again miscalculating the resonance or how will the Adani matter really be relevant to the voters? We saw what happened in the context of Rafale. Are you again getting onto an issue which will not yield any result for you? Because as far as the political capital of this government is concerned, it's very high. As far as personal, capital of Prime Minister Modi is concerned, that continues to be high.
The first question that arises here is, isn't the onus on the government to first clarify when there is an allegation made against it? And Modi-Adani issue is not something, the Adani issue the nexus has been exposed. Now today we have a Hindenburg report that spoke about what all happened. So what is wrong in demanding? If the government has nothing to hide, why not going for a JPC? This is a clear delay tactic. This is a clear avoidance, but nothing more than that.
No, but then, my question is, if Rahul Gandhi feels that his statements are being misconstrued by the opposition, which is the BJP here, then what is stopping him from apologizing? It can be the same argument here.
What is it? Exactly. You just want to accuse someone and then just just say.
But didn't he actually say that he wanted intervention of? No. He actually said that he wanted the intervention of US. Excuse me.
If given an opportunity, he would like to clarify himself. Okay. And I guess that is a basic right that anyone would have. You just can't accuse someone and then run away and not allow him to speak in the parliament. it does not happen. He's a member of the
You know, the
parliament.
point is,
very
okay,
clearly
the
said,
onus,
"I
you know,
would like
we
to
have seen
clarify
that. We have seen
myself
that play out.
because
You
the
have to
first
run the parliament
accusation
because
coming
it's your
leading
legislative agenda which is
against him
stuck.
on the
My
floor
question
of the
then is,
House,
Sanju
he
Verma,
would want to
what is
first
stopping you from ordering a
He
JPC?
never
You
said-
have
he
been
never
saying
said,
that
"I
the
will not
exposure
speak
to
anyone outside."
LIC and the banks are at an all-time low. That is below 1%. Then why are you worried about it?
Maria, let me be very clear. You know, first and foremost, I take strong objection to the Congress panelists' reckless and wild allegation. She said that the nexus between Prime Minister Modi and Adani is already established. You know, I drag you to the courts if you stop, if you don't stop making these kind of wild allegations without any substance. Let me just tell you one thing. You know, I will respond to your question, but when you say that we have a nexus with Adani, just answer two questions. Adani Group is spending 60,000 crore by way of a thermal and solar power project in Rajasthan. Adani has been given blanket permission to mine coal from the Chhattisgarh forest, and I hope you know that both in Rajasthan and in Chhattisgarh, you have a Congress government in power. That means when Adani invests in Congress-ruled states like Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, you will clap and say, "Sab changa si." But when Adani invests in non-Congress-ruled states, you smell a rat and you say JPC chahiye. Get rid of your hypocrisy. And let me tell you,
They
madam,
have nothing to hide when the Congress, even when the Congress.
we will
governments are
decide.
there,
We will
yes,
decide if we want a JPC or
Our
not.
hands are clean.
You are in the
So what is
opposition.
stopping you from?
You are in the opposition.
announcing a
Power
JPC?
में आओ,
JPC is
सत्ता
not
में
even
आओ,
news
बाद
is
में
not that it's
JPC का
coming
ज्ञान देना।
And today,
पहले
just
सत्ता में आओ, बाद में
समाजवादी
JPC का
पार्टी
ज्ञान
क्या
देना।
चाहती है?
राहुल
क्योंकि
गांधी जी
TMC
अपना-
has broken ranks, has said whatever is being discussed and demanded by the Congress, they are not standing with it. Anurag Badoria, Akhilesh Yadav meets Mamata Banerjee. He is not concerned about what's happening in Parliament.
मुझे लगता है कि जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, ये संवाद विरोधी सरकार है। ये संवाद ही नहीं चाहती है। पार्लियामेंट के अंदर में, पार्लियामेंट लोकतंत्र में पार्लियामेंट चलाने की जिम्मेदारी सरकार की होती है, सत्ता पक्ष की होती है। पहली बार हिंदुस्तान के पार्लियामेंट में देखा जा रहा है कि सत्ता पक्ष विरोध कर रहा है पार्लियामेंट चलने का, वो हंगामा काट रहा है। अरे ये काम तो विपक्ष का होता है, विपक्ष अपनी मांग मांगता है जनता की।
अनुराग जी, मेरा सवाल है कि अखिलेश यादव कोलकाता जाकर के उन्होंने ये क्यों बयान दिया कि उनका भी टारगेट कांग्रेस पार्टी है? क्योंकि आप लोग रियलाइज कर रहे हैं, जो ममता बनर्जी बोलती रही हैं, जिस तरह से वो बीजेपी को से लड़ रही हैं, उस तरह से अखिलेश यादव लड़ रहे। कांग्रेस का क्या इसमें काम है? ये तो 1-to-1 लड़ाई हो गई है यूपी और बंगाल में।
नहीं, यूपी और बंगाल की लड़ाई नहीं है। सवाल ये है कि जो कांग्रेस की बात, जो कांग्रेस और भारतीय जनता पार्टी दोनों एक जैसे ही है। देखो, भारतीय जनता पार्टी भी जनता की बात नहीं कर रही है, वो कांग्रेस की बात करती है, और कांग्रेस भारतीय जनता पार्टी की बात करती है। ना भारतीय जनता पार्टी हिंदुस्तान है, ना कांग्रेस हिंदुस्तान है। हिंदुस्तान अगर कोई है तो हिंदुस्तान की जनता है। उस जनता के मुद्दों की चर्चा कौन करेगा, मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ। बेरोजगारी, महिला समस्या, किसान, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य पे कब चर्चा होगी? ये तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की
चलिए, बीजेपी, then you are saying that you are not standing with the Congress on the issue of JPC, right?
नहीं, जेपीसी होनी चाहिए। हाँ। हम जनता के साथ हैं। मैंने आपसे क्या बोला, हमारे मतभेद हो सकते हैं किसी भी
लेकिन संवाद के अगेंस्ट में भाजपा है, और संवाद जो भाजपा नहीं चाहती है, संजू वर्मा, आप चलिए जेपीसी नहीं चाहती हैं, what is stopping from the government from beginning a debate on inflation? That's a public issue, and Samajwadi Party and the TMC wants that to be raised.
May I now please, I didn't heckle Anurag. Maria, I didn't heckle anybody. Anurag Bhadoria, मैंने आपको बीच में टोका नहीं है। Okay, let him continue, then I will come in.
चलिए, भारतीय जनता पार्टी पार्लियामेंट नहीं चलने दे रही है, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी चाहती नहीं है कि पार्लियामेंट के अंदर में जनता के मुद्दों पे बात हो। क्योंकि सुनिए, आप विपक्ष को भी उसी जनता ने चुना है।
हाँ, ठीक है, चलिए, विपक्ष ने, लेकिन विपक्ष एक साथ थोड़ी ना कोई मुद्दा उठा रही है। चलिए बोलिए, संजू वर्मा जल्दी बोलिए, then I bring in others. Yes.
Okay. इनको चुप करवाइए, मैंने इनको नहीं टोका।
हाँ, चलिए, बोलिए संजू।
हाँ, thank you, Maria. Maria, let me be very clear. If you look at the past track record of the opposition, enough is never enough. Should I take you back to 2019? During the peak of Rafale controversy, what did Rahul Gandhi say? We want a CAG probe. And the CAG said a standalone Rafale deal negotiated by the Modi government
अरे
is
कांग्रेस
9% cheaper. Again, you got this man. You either ask him to stop or don't get me on your
देश
debate.
की जनता की कर लो ना.
चलिए शुरू हो जाइए. Maria Shakil, either you moderate the debate or don't call me on your debate.
और दलों
अनुराग जी,
लेकिन देश
अनुराग जी आपने अपना बात बोल दिया.
उस पर चर्चा नहीं करना.
चलिए आपने अपनी बात रख दी. चलिए अब संजू वर्मा की बात सुन लीजिए.
क्यों नहीं करते?
चलिए संजू वर्मा की बात.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I was saying something. Please don't get him when I'm talking. I did not heckle him. Thank you. During the Rafale controversy, I repeat, the demand by the opposition, particularly the likes of Rahul Gandhi, was we want a CAG probe. And the CAG probe clearly said that a standalone Rafale deal is 9% cheaper, as in a vanilla one negotiated by the Modi government, and the consolidated deal is about 3% cheaper. But the opposition was not satisfied. The matter was taken right till the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Supreme Court said there was no commercial advantage that was accrued to the Modi government. Despite that, Rahul Gandhi went around saying Chaukidar chor hai. Finally, Meenakshi Lekhi had to file a contempt of court petition. यहाँ बैठकर आप भाषण मत दीजिए. पहले आतिक अहमद जैसे आतंकवादी को जो आपकी पार्टी से फूलपुर से सांसद बने थे ना, उनके बारे में थोड़ा भाषण दीजिए.
Okay, Sanjay Jha and Abhijit Iyer Mitrana. Sanjay Jha, it's becoming increasingly clear that there is a visible disconnect between issues that are important for the people of the country, the voters, and what is being raised by opposition, and in this case the Congress. Rafale did not have any resonance whatsoever in the 2019 elections. It did not, the Congress did try to make it an issue, but that was not an issue on which people voted, the voters voted. Similarly, the Pegasus issue was a non-issue, and now this another issue being raised repeatedly.
Maria, if you think that the Adani issue is not a public issue, then I think we are all living in a fool's paradise. Here is the man whose proximity to Narendra Modi is legendary. He becomes the second richest man, gathers 85% of his wealth in the last 3 years. And you're telling me this is not a public issue. His wealth has been wiped off in a market bloodbath. The market, which consists of foreign and domestic investors, have given a message that they believe the Hindenburg research. They don't believe the Narendra Modi government. And you're saying it's not a public issue. I think the opposition has scared the BJP. Rahul Gandhi today has frightened Mr. Modi and the BJP. And trust me, if the BJP has any wisdom, they will know no political party keeps winning all the time. These things change. It's the way politics plays out.
Okay, then in that case, no, Sanjay Jha, because electoral victories are the biggest validation for any policy of a government or policy proposal of an opposition party. Exactly. That's what I understand as far as a political journalist.
Yeah, exactly. And as a student of political history, now let me tell you what even I understand. You have at the moment an autocratic, democratically elected dictatorship.
This man talks gibberish.
Can I speak without an interruption? I didn't interrupt anybody. Listen, if I don't have a civilized conversation,
please go ahead, Mr. Jha. Yes.
Yeah. So my point is very straightforward. Why is the BJP so paranoid and scared and rattled?
Nobody's paranoid.
By Rahul Gandhi, that he questions Mr. Modi and Adani. He did that correctly in the press conference yesterday. He called the bluff out. That the reason why they are talking about Rahul Gandhi in London making apparently anti-national comments is just
I'll bring in Abhijit now. Abhijit.
Now, 1 minute, one last line.
Okay.
One last line. You will get to know what the public feels. Part has been spoken in Himachal, and a lot of it will be spoken in Karnataka very soon.
Okay.
I think Mr. Modi has got
And how should we be reading the recently concluded northeastern elections, Abhijit?
We will see what happens in Karnataka in a few weeks.
Okay, no, I'm sure, you have better understanding of what's happening on the ground. But how should we be reading the elections in northeast, Abhijit?
Maria, this is the thing. What Narasimha Rao did was he created the Indian middle class. And sadly, the Congress has ceased to represent that middle class. The BJP is the voice of that middle class. It is the voice of that emergent India that came about in the 1990s. So what you have on one hand is this aspirational sort of crowd, which the BJP represents. On the other, you have the Congress. You see, the Congress was second in intellect only to the CPI, or self-proclaimed intellect, whatever you want to call it. But where is the CPI today? They've sort of theorized and abstracted themselves into political irrelevance. And that is what, the Congress is doing. You can have all these refined conversations about whatever, but you go from 44 to 52. I mean, is a double-digit count really a respectable count in Parliament for a party that never saw below 3 digits? Second, look at this specifically. Since we're talking about Adani, it's a question of priorities. We can be quite clear the BJP clearly does not want to discuss Adani in Parliament.
Yes.
Now, Rahul should have been somewhat tactically more circumspect and not gone and shot his mouth off, giving the BJP some kind of angle to prevent that conversation. He did not. He's literally given the weapon to the BJP. Now, assume Rahul's first priority is to talk about Adani. He needs to talk about Adani because he needs to take the focus away from his remarks. The problem is, how do you get to talk about Adani? It's very simple. You apologize. Even if it's a misunderstanding, even if, all of us are wrong, and the Congress is absolutely 100% right on this, the way to turn the focus back on the BJP is to apologize and then move on to the Adani debate.
Okay, then why isn't then, then Miss Palwai, the point here is that if the Adani JPC is your primary issue, then apologize and move on, bring the focus back on JPC.
Why would someone apologize for nothing that was spoken wrong? Why would he? Well, just to give you more ammunition that tomorrow, for you to say that Rahul Gandhi apologized and because he apologized because the BJP demanded. Well, is there any cause or reason for him to apologize?
Okay, so if Rahul Gandhi thinks that he has not said anything wrong,
why is he not
in seeking the foreign intervention, ma'am? Then how do you put the focus back on JPC and Adani issue?
Please give him a chance to speak, explain his comments, and then you can finally convict him. It is
but there's no conviction here for speaking.
Here you are malign him and then you convict him and he has no chance.
Anurag Bhadoria, quickly, 30 seconds to you and then the final word to Sanju Verma. Please, quickly, go ahead, Anurag Bhadoria.
मुझे लगता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी मुद्दों से ध्यान भटका रही है, पार्लियामेंट चलने नहीं दे रही है और जानबूझ के नहीं चलने दे रही है, क्योंकि वो चाहती नहीं है कि देश की जनता की बात पार्लियामेंट के अंदर हो। वो कभी कांग्रेस डालती है, कांग्रेस बीजेपी भी डालती है, दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ फुटबॉल खेल रहे हैं और जनता इंतजार करती रहती है कि कब पार्लियामेंट के अंदर में मेरी बात होगी। जनता की बात नहीं कर, इसलिए कह रहे हैं संवाद विरोधी सरकार है ये।
इस संवाद विरोधी अगर भाजपा सरकार है तो फिर कांग्रेस का क्या रोल है इसमें?
नहीं, मैं बोल तो रहा हूँ, भारतीय जनता पार्टी संवाद विरोधी है, अपने मन की तो बात करती है, लेकिन जनता की मन की बात ना करती है ना सुनना चाहती है। अगर जनता की मन की बात सुनना चाहती है और उस पर बात करना चाहती है तो सदन चलना चाहिए, क्योंकि सदन नहीं चलने देना ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सत्ता की जिम्मेदारी होती है, लेकिन ये अपनी जिम्मेदारी से भाग रहे हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात है।
So you are saying that the Congress is the B team of the BJP now, according to Samajwadi Party?
नहीं, मैंने ऐसा नहीं बोला। हाँ। नहीं, मैंने ऐसा नहीं बोला। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जिम्मेदारी है सत्ता चलाना, संसद चलाना। हाँ। बस संसद नहीं चल रही है, इसकी पूरी जिम्मेदारी भारतीय जनता पार्टी।
तो चलिए, तो आप लोग फुटबॉल क्यों खेल रहे हैं? कांग्रेस और भाजपा फुटबॉल क्यों खेल रही है? चलिए, संजू वर्मा जवाब दीजिए।
संजू वर्मा, अच्छा अनुराग, आपकी बात सुन ली है। What is this? Nobody heckles him. Why is he non-stop?
No, please go ahead.
Maria, let me just tell you, Sanjay Jha made a comment that, Hindenburg said this and that about Adani. I'm a student of economics and let me tell you, Hindenburg was cheering for Credit Suisse 72 hours back. Today, Credit Suisse has a 55% chance of going bankrupt. It is leading the contagion in Europe. And by the way, Maria, you'll be surprised to know, Hindenburg said that one of the best banks in the US is the First Republic Bank, where Hindenburg had put in 75% of its deposits. And do you know something? First Republic Bank is almost wiped out. So the credibility of Hindenburg is zero. And for Sanjay Jha, coming from a party whose electoral credibility is zero, to cite a report like Hindenburg by a discredited short seller called Nathan Anderson speaks volumes about the fact that WhatsApp University का ज्ञान बीजेपी नहीं, WhatsApp University के ज्ञान के सहारे संजय झा आकर मारिया शकील की डिबेट में बीजेपी को भाषण देते हैं। You should be ashamed. Your party is down to 52 seats.
Okay. No, Sanjay Jha, since you have said that he should be ashamed, let me ask him. Sanjay Jha.
या लेट मी टेल यू, यदि यही सच है, अब भैया हम भी पीएचडी किए हुए हैं इकोनॉमिक्स में, कुछ सिखा देंगे आप लोग को, लेकिन अभी शांत रखिए।
अच्छा, कहाँ से पीएचडी किए हैं जरा बताइए,
जरा सुनिए मैडम,
कहाँ से बताइए, कौन से, नेम योर इंस्टीट्यूशन।
शांति
हम
रखिए,
तो पब्लिक पॉलिसी इकोनॉमिक्स ऑक्सफोर्ड से किए हैं, आप कहाँ से किए हैं?
क्वाइट व्हेन आई स्पीक। तो आजकल जो एक
व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रेजुएट हो आप।
आजकल एक बहुत लोकप्रिय गाना है जो मोदी जी और अदानी जी के बारे में गाया जाता है। आजकल तेरे मेरे प्यार के चर्चे हर जबान पर, सबको मालूम
और
है।
एक बहुत फेमस गाना है, बड़े बेआबरू होकर तेरे कूचे से हम निकले,
ये बात सच,
बहुत मेरे अरमान निकले फिर भी कम निकले। संजय झा, when you talk your party loses 100 votes. Every time you blabber, your party loses 100 votes.
आपको देखिए, आपका यहाँ पर चाहे आप जो भी कर रहे हैं,
Adani opened his flagship company when Narasimha Rao of Congress was the Prime Minister. 5 out of 7 publicly listed companies of Adani was set up when Congress was in power.
कहीं बच नहीं सकते हैं आप। You can run, but you cannot hide.
अरे, you have lost so many elections. Feels थोड़ी तो शर्म करो, थोड़ी
All
शर्म
right,
करो।
Sanjay Verma, Ms. Palwai, Sanjay Jha, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, and Anurag Badoria. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Shifting focus to the crackdown online scams that prey on the Aam Aadmi, we get you part 3 of our continuing coverage as we expose online scams targeting job seekers after Chinese loan traps and cryptocurrency scams.
जो लोकल पुलिस स्टेशन है कंप्लेंट दी, वो बोले ठीक है, वील सी व्हाट कैन वी डू, बट दिस इज़ अ केस ऑफ साइबर। आदित्य के बारे में गंदे गंदे मैसेज उसके पैन कार्ड फ़ोटो पे लिख के आ रही है, बना के पैन कार्ड वगैरह का टोटली मिसयूज़ करके सारी कॉन्टैक्ट लिस्ट पे इन्होंने भेजा है।
टेलीग्राम से मेरी चैट स्टार्ट हुई, उन्होंने कहा ठीक है आपको कितना स्टार्ट करना है, मिनिमम अमाउंट 5000 जो भी है, तो अराउंड करते करते मैंने उन्हें अराउंड 1,40,000 पे कर दिए। फिर मुझे माइंड में स्ट्रक किया कि नहीं, ये एक तरीके से फ्रॉड हो गया है।
There is another cyber fraud which has picked up speed to dupe desperate job seekers into emptying their bank accounts. Amidst mass layoffs and the post-pandemic job market slump, cyber criminals have set up shop to bait victims with lucrative job offers and reel them into disclosing sensitive information. The Delhi police has busted a gang operating along with these lines in connivance with a Chinese module. 3 men were arrested following raids in Delhi, Gurugram and Fatehabad for allegedly running a pan-India online part-time job racket in the name of Amazon. The syndicate allegedly created a fictitious website designed by China-based developers and spread the link on social media to dupe unsuspecting job seekers. CNN News 18's Yash Goel with this exclusive report.
CNN News 18 has exposed multiple modus operandi which swindlers have undertaken to empty your bank accounts. Earlier, we exposed how Chinese loan apps were used to dupe people, followed by how Telegram apps were used to dupe people in the pretext of investing in cryptocurrencies. Now, we are bringing you yet another modus operandi of swindlers, which is entailed to empty your bank accounts.
Amid mass layoffs across the world, fraudsters have zeroed in on a new target: desperate and vulnerable job seekers. Their tools are fake job ads and harvesting tactics, and the goal is to obtain money and sensitive information from job seekers.
स्कैम जो ये हो रहे हैं, ये वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ मोडस ऑपरेंडीज हैं जो साइबर स्पेस में करी जाती हैं, और कहीं ना कहीं ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ मनी आता है, मतलब इट इज़ काइंड ऑफ अ फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड। ये यहाँ पर वर्ल्ड में, यूरोप में, यूएस में, हर जगह पर ये चीज़ें होती हैं।
According to the police, the scam is broken down into 8 steps. Fake or duplicate websites are created in such a manner that they appear to be genuine and anyone can be easily deceived. The jobs are promoted on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube with the promise of big pay packages. The fraudsters get millions of paid likes and ratings and reviews through digital marketing techniques so that victims are convinced. Artificial intelligence is also used to pop up before people on their screens with online jobs or work from home options. Interested parties are asked to establish contact. Once the victim is convinced, they are contacted by messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram. Then, users are assigned the task of selling or purchasing products and services for any company. Victims are asked to create a work ID on the website. An e-wallet is designed where the user can see various options like balance, task, order, withdrawal, selling and flagging off of products. Users get carried away when they see that the product or the service is sold out and the money reflects as balance in their wallet. But in reality, they have been conned by people who have complete control over the website and can make modification in users' accounts. When the victim tries to withdraw money, they are shown remaining tasks and asked to recharge their wallet with half the value of the item to be sold. In the end, the website disappears without a trace and the con is complete. We spoke to a victim who revealed that it wasn't just their money but also sensitive data that was phished.
He contacted me through WhatsApp and asking like if you are interested to doing a part-time job so we can start the process. I replied like I'm interested. He shared one link and I opened that link and create my account with the username and ID password. And after that, one account has opened through the name of like Amazon kind of details has been given over that account which I have generated or which I have opened. So after that, he was saying that you have to register with few nominal charges. It was a scam. So when he was approaching me like you have to add more money to buy some order from the Amazon link. So I was adding the amount. I was adding the amount to recover my money, but it was a scam. Like I lost so many orders.
Okay,
yeah. So it was around 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh actually.
Delhi police apprehended a group of cyber criminals who were allegedly involved in these online job scams. According to the cops, the accused were operating in collusion with Chinese companies, but the syndicate mastermind operated from Dubai.
In this particular case also where we received the complaint and registered in December the FIR, there also the server where the website was hosted is in China, and the mobile number were used for WhatsApp and Telegram, their IP address is also from China. So stating this that there is involvement from the people in China, I think this is true. It cannot be denied.
As per the Delhi police, nearly 11,000 people have been scammed across India. Their money siphoned off using a shell company via offshore crypto exchanges.
The account that she transferred the money into, that particular account had a transaction of more than 5 crore rupees in one day, in single day. And the unique IDs in that particular account doing the transaction were more than 30,000. In a one day, 5 crore rupees transaction and more than 30,000 victims, I would say, is huge to be considered.
So how does one safeguard themselves from such scams? Make sure to only use verified apps and websites. Think twice before answering any suspicious phone call or replying to dubious emails. Always double check authenticity of a company. And don't pay the price for the promise of a job. Remember, it could be too good to be true.
Ultimately, the thought process is very clear. They want to generate money from the Indian market. They want to target the hapless, innocent Indian user who wants to potentially see hope in these kinds of apps. And then this money gets to be used for a variety of purposes, including against the national interest and the national security of India.
While India is transforming digitally, there needs to be greater awareness among the public. Otherwise, they will easily fall prey to the growing web of cyber crimes. For CNN News 18, this is Yash Goel.
And Yash is joining me live. Yash, what is the scale that we are looking at? On an average, how many job seekers are targeted?
Well, Maria, talking about this very particular case and entirety of this matter, in fact, the police had maintained that till the date, police had busted this very group of cyber criminals. Around 11,000 people were in fact being duped in this entire matter. So the vicinity and the web of this entire thing is very humongous, if we can say. In fact, the Delhi police has also maintained that it's not just about the jobs, it's about the larger net. Because if we see, look at the cases in this entire matter, the modus operandi remains to be very similar in all these cases. In fact, the Chinese loan app case, then the Telegram case, and in fact the cryptocurrency frauds, and now these very job scams. So the list of victims is very humongous in this case. And in fact, the most problematic thing in this entire case is that most of these scams are operated and done by people sitting outside the geographical boundaries of India. And in fact, police has categorically maintained that in all these cases, and in particular in this very case also, the mastermind was stationed in Dubai, and in fact the servers which the police was able to track, they were all located either in China or countries like Hong Kong.
All right, Yash, thank you so much. Joining me now, Karnika Seth, cyber law expert. We also have Prashant Sharma. Siddhant Tyagi is a victim here, and Yashwardhan Azad, former IPS officer. I'm going to begin with you, Karnika. How are these apps and websites able to gain the gateways for financial transactions?
Well, these apps and, if you call these phishing scams, I mean, they are able to, be a haven rather for these criminals, because it's very easy for them to put in their, user accounts, and they can really siphon off monies of people with social engineering attacks. It's very easy because the KYCs may not be in order, the due diligence guidelines may be flouted, and criminals, find via media through use of VPNs, they misuse technology rather, to commit these crimes. It really needs more accountability also on the part of the app stores and the app providers to see who is registering an account, and who is the person who's transacting and interacting with a customer. So that is essential, and we don't have I would say enough regulatory framework at this point. We're still building the framework. We do have cyber fraud, reporting in say 6 hours time window. We have other norms, just recently against fake loan news and other, aspects. However, the cyber awareness which is needed from an ordinary, citizen is still in the process. We are still in the process of educating and empowering them.
Okay, then as the government's Digital India program, expands, how do you protect job seekers then, Prashant Sharma?
So first of all, we need to make them understand that they don't need to click any of the job opening or any of the offer which they are getting on the Telegram channels or maybe on the WhatsApp, and they have to be very, very clear, and they need to read the proper post or read about the organization, what kind of the jobs they are getting. See, free money and free lunches are not always so jazzy. So then they need to understand that they do verify the application or any of the job before applying for that, and they don't have to pay money just to get their own money what they have earned. So in most of the cases we have observed very clearly that these fraudsters are asking money, right? So we don't have to fill any of the forms by paying money, or we don't have to pay any of the extra amount just to get our salary, from these.
Okay, then Siddhant, what exactly is your story? मुझे अपने बारे में बताइए. And what exactly did you do in terms of did you get get carried away कि अच्छी job है तो थोड़ा सा चलिए फॉर्म भरने ही में पैसा खर्च कर देते हैं? Siddhant, if you can hear me. Siddhant Tyagi, अगर आप सुन सकते हैं. सिद्धांत त्यागी, अगर आप सुन सकते हैं, मेरा सवाल आपसे ये है कि क्या हुआ था, आपने क्या पैसा दिया, कोई फॉर्म भरा, क्या किया था आपने?
So are you asking this with me?
No, this is a question to the victim here. I'll try and connect with him again. Yashwardhan Azad, do you feel at the local level the police is still not really equipped to deal with such crimes?
No, you see, let me start by saying that in this age of information and communication technology, I mean, online frauds are bound to happen unless you're careful. And I think there is a lot of cautionary advertisements which have been even put out by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Like somebody said, if there is a kind of a cash transaction, I mean, how can you apply for that job? I mean, how can you apply for a job online when these are from unsolicited emails asking you to deposit money? They have some vague websites, which vaguely are similar to the proper ones. The police will do it if it is reported in time. For example, MHA has also listed that number where you immediately apply if there is a cyber fraud, and they can block through the banks and all that. But the serious problem here is that most of them, if somebody is writing from Dubai and says that there's a job in Dubai and you give so much of money, you give money and then you give again some money, then I mean, how can somebody prevent?
सिद्धांत, मुझे अपने बारे में बताइए, क्या हुआ था?
Hi. So in my case, someone impersonated a company that I was investing in. So I usually used to invest directly through the company owners because I invested in the private sale seed round. But later when I had to again purchase, I went to the Telegram chat of that company. So someone targeted me from there because they knew that I have some holding in that particular share or particular crypto company. So there they try to impersonate the company as their support, and they're like, you're trying to they reached me out for some help, and that's when they gave me a malicious link, which I knew about that it's the consumer who has to be aware in these areas, because there's no regulatory body in place as of now. This is where I feel the drawback is there. If you really want to invest and be a part of these areas, you should use a legit channel. Until the point of time, crypto and all these investments, or even offering jobs,
I want to
through these
understand from
platforms,
you, why did you believe in that email that you got? Why did you click on that link? And what was the response of the cops when you told about this fraud?
So basically, this is, if we look at Telegram, the jurisdiction is actually, it's a Dubai-based company. They don't have any offices, no support, nothing like that. So even the police can't do much about it because there's no person to reach out to, there's no office, there's no infrastructure set up here. Even the company is based out of Dubai, so you can't do much there. And mostly it's like, we have to always analyze and see a balance between the greed and what actual picture it is. Because if a legit company is there, they would go all out and would reach you out through proper channels, and everyone would know about it. Something which most people don't know about, you really have to do your own research. You have to get in touch. And this is a case I'm talking about where I knew the owners of the company. So that is how easy it is to be targeted through Telegram and these things. So mostly you have to be very aware in those group chats and in private chats. You have to really see whether the person impersonating, he has changed a particular letter in the link or in the profile that they're trying to impersonate. They would always have there is a clue always hidden right in front of you. So everything is there, but you have to really open your eyes and see through it if you're really trying to go into something which is not there in the mainstream investment channel or mainstream media. So if you're using Telegram and these things, you have to be very cautious.
If we were to put an amount to your loss, Siddhant, is there some amount that you lose? What was the amount to the fraud that was committed on you?
So basically, it was part of the profit that I generated. So I actually lost most of my profit, which was approximately 5 to 6 lakhs. So I lost all of that money just because of clicking on a link. And there they were trying to offer me support. And they're like, just click on this and verify your address. And they knew I am a holder of those coins. So it was very easy for them to pull those assets because I clicked the link and I compromised my personal data, which easily gave them access to my assets.
Then Karnika, I'm going to come back to you, Siddhant. I want to understand a little more. But before that, Karnika, are the tools to raise red flags also limited for those who come across these scams? Such syndicates are notorious for going dark and re-emerging under a new name, So how do you identify in the digital space? How do you protect it? I mean, the basic safeguards are missing.
Well, first of all, the consumers, the users of the net, there are, helplines available like 1930 and cybercrime.gov.in. They need to be aware of these usual modus operandi of criminals, like we were just discussing, that one shouldn't click on any suspicious links. And if they really encounter any situation like this, one needs to immediately inform the bank, inform the payment wallet company, or even the social media platforms if they're encountering any kind of criminal intimidation or their data is stolen. These are all, even they're asking for bitcoins at times. So they have to be aware. That's number one. Number two is, if this happens, then what is to be done? After reporting this, one has to keep the screenshots of these evidences, and that will help in the investigation. In order to track them, sometimes we use DNA photo hash mechanisms. If it's an image which is shared, there are other tools, AI-based tools today, to even find out, like we do fact checking for fake news. We also have, tools and AI deployed tools to cross check where a particular, link is originating from, or how it is being circulated, and how it can be blocked on the, web. So there are ways and means. The onion routing, which is prevalent in the dark web, you can actually, you can tackle that. You can tackle steganography also. So there are lots of different technologies today which we can actually use and misuse both. So you have to really find ways and means, even encryption for that matter of fact. You can use it to
Prashant ji, mujhe bataiye, we all receive these random messages and calls for loans and part-time jobs. If everyone consciously raises the red flag and doesn't ignore it, is that the only way forward, that you have to protect your own self?
So you have to protect your own self. So that is the best way. So prevention is always better than cure. So you have to rectify each and every problem, right, by your own. So you have to check whether the link has been, came from the authentic source. Is there any kind of a typoscopic domains you are, clicking on, or any of the random messages, right? You cannot click the link, because see, everything starts from that link only. Because if you are clicking those kind of links, it might be possible malware can get installed in your device also, and you are giving the complete access to the scammers and all. So we have to prevent ourselves by not clicking any of the random links.
Okay.
So that is the best way to prevent yourself.
Antivirus
And
anti-spyware
on these
also
Telegram, and on this Telegram and the WhatsApp, most of the channels has been hidden under the IP, which is under hidden the VPN connections, right? And most of the IPs are belongs to the countries who are not into a friendly relationship with India, right? It's going to be very hard for us to track those kind of scammers.
Okay, Yashwardhan Azad, this clearly is an evolution of fraud, where hidden figures can do so much real damage while being far away from your system and your life. Now, we are essentially talking about prevention being the best way forward. But what is the solution for the Aam Aadmi who's looking for a quick loan or a job?
See, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to escape online frauds, because most of the things are being done in a digital fashion today. So I totally agree when somebody says that precaution is the best cure. But of course, there are other ways. You see, all the cautionary advice is on the public domain. So if you're really desperate about a job, if you're desperate about a particular loan, then you have to be equally vigilant about the authenticity of the source from where you're getting a loan, etc. I think that is the only way which you can do, because in digital revolution, which we are seeing right now, you have to be digitally aware. The police, for example, can do it if you immediately you're given the information. But if the IP addresses, if these people are doing this fraud from outside, like Chinese-based apps or from Dubai, that is very, very difficult. For example, some of the police, their cyber police stations are working very well, like in Haryana, for example. So you have to be vigilant, you have to be active, and immediately you have to report this kind of a crime for the police to act. I think this is the only solution.
No, but Siddhant says that he had no option. I mean, Siddhant, did you actually report to the police?
I have one comment here.
One moment, Kanika.
Siddhant.
I did reach out to the police, but at the same time, they don't have much knowledge about Telegram and these particular apps. So if you're using autonomous apps, there's very limited things where they can help you from. If it is WhatsApp or something like that, that sort of a platform is still accountable to some extent.
Yes.
So it really depends on what channel you're using. If you're using a channel where you really don't know much about the company, so it becomes the user's duty to actually safeguard himself. You can actually use VPN and certain methods where you're not, where even if you click a link, you don't actually compromise your data and your wallet or your credit card details or whatever is saved on your phone. So you also try to mask your identity, especially when you're using autonomous apps, which are still not regulated to any extent when it comes to the police acting on it.
And Siddhant, do you know of people who have been, have been part of this kind of fraud, like you have been subjected to, who had to suffer?
Yeah, there are like most investors who are still a part of the market. They have gone through this phase and stage where they have been scammed in one way or the other. There are a lot of young people from Russia who are like 17, 16 years old, but all they know is they just go on phishing people. They create fake identities, they create fake websites, they try to replicate the most commonly used websites like Facebook and all these, where people try to put in their details, or they, in some way or the other, they would send a link out to your phone. They would even try to replicate your bank to that extent, where you would put your credit card details. They try to impersonate these common aspects where anyone could fall for it, thinking, okay, my bank is calling, they're asking me to verify my identity is probably. So they actually play on something which people really don't know much about, but they are a part of that system. Okay. So it's like if a bank calls you, you'll try to verify yourself. If they say your credit card is going to get blocked. In that way, you have to really see where the call is coming from. Is it so? I would suggest like apps like Truecaller, they actually
all right. So be careful. You have to protect your own self is the answer that's coming from this discussion. Karnika, Prashant, Siddhant, and Yashvardhan Azad, thank you so much for your time. We are putting out that story of Yash Goel on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.
Committee that was made by the BJP and it was constituted also. Why can't the BJP, when in power, do the same thing? Aparajita ji.
See, the government of Prime Minister Modi is highly transparent. We don't have anything to hide, no skeletons in the cupboard. The only thing is that there are 3 petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court. And Honorable Supreme Court went to the extent of constituting a 6-member expert committee. And this has been done a couple of days back. And the expert committee consists of highly qualified people. And they are on the job. They are looking into the matter. They would examine all the aspects and they would give a report. And after the report comes out, I think
interjecting you there, the Supreme Court committee is on the larger regulatory framework. You'd know about that. It's not a criminal investigation against any private individual or any private company. And arguably the government or the agencies have a right to do so.
I think all of us are trying to put a question mark on the wisdom and the credibility of the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court is there, when the matter is sub judice, it is absolutely unwise to even think of the constitution of a joint parliamentary committee. What would the joint parliamentary committee do at this juncture? In fact, let's all wait for the report. And this is a very serious matter which has taken place in London. So I think the Congress and Rahul Gandhi have to come out and apologize in the Lok Sabha first.
So will Rahul Gandhi apologize? And I ask this question to you rather provocatively, that the question that the BJP is raising is, and Aparajita ji said it in the first part of her argument, that when you take oath as the member of the parliament, it's a constitutional office in some sense, you in some way affirm to uphold India's sovereignty, integrity and also dignity. You can criticize the government, you can criticize the elected Prime Minister, but to say democracy is dead in India and some kind of foreign intervention should be made, is that a coherent, is that an acceptable argument? Jyotimani ji, if you can hear me.
Yeah, actually what is the real problem for the Indian democracy? What is, we are actually ashamed of the Indian, when something happened in the foreign soil is, when a Prime Minister of the country taking a friend who is a businessman against all laws, whichever the foreign trip he goes, taking with him and broker the contract and get him the contract out of the way. There are placed on record. There is Sri Lankan government, Bangladesh government. These are placed on record in front of their own parliamentary standing committee. They have testified that Prime Minister of the India is interfere and pressurize the Sri Lankan government to get the power contract for the Adani. This is what something we should ashamed of. This is the Prime Minister job. Why Prime Minister going to foreign soil to have a good relationship, have a better foreign policy, getting business for all people, not one friend. So we are really something we are ashamed of it. This behavior of the Prime Minister, behavior of this government is something we should ashamed of it. Let's talk about that. And even before this, Prime Minister of this country has gone into all other countries like tour, like none of the Prime Minister has spent so much money on this kind of things. Actually, he said nothing has happened in this country for 70 years. This country is like blind.
A quick response from you, and then I'm going to rush
the same Prime Minister who insulted the India and the Parliament in the foreign soil. Then is that correct that time? Now we haven't said such kind of things.
Jyotimaniji, I've got your broader point. The allegation that the Congress party right now is making is that certain private individuals were quote unquote promoted by this government. That's your allegation. Aparajita ji, please respond.
I would emphatically say that Rahul Gandhi
Even as the opposition parties like yourself came together with the Congress party, the one thing that stood large is that even the opposition is not united as far as this JPC demand is concerned.
Where has it ever happened that in a directorial debut, you win the biggest ever award?
Well, I think we're just absolutely thrilled to receive this great honor.
My heart is racing, to be very honest.
What steps is the government going to take to encourage Indian startups to move their deposits into the Indian banking system?
Prime Minister's office were carefully monitoring this issue from the very start.
Imran Khan is doing a lot of histrionics around these two cases. The attempt to try and whip up sentiment, is that to keep himself politically relevant? Is that because he knows that this current government is unpopular?
Not jump to any conclusions on a premature level at this stage. Once the Supreme Court has constituted a committee, it has been given a particular time frame of 2 months to submit the report. The committee comprises of very eminent people who are experts in respective fields and who have complete knowledge of how the stock market moves, how the business valuations takes place. So I think we should wait for the report to be submitted to the Supreme Court by the committee, and it is only thereafter that we should come to any of the issues if they relate to any investigation parts. I am also sure that the committee members are fully empowered to take the assistance of any of the investigation agencies of India while completing their report. So the point is that at this moment and at this juncture, there is no prima facie evidence to say that there is crony capitalism or there are charges which are, apparently proved.
Rahul Gandhi says that if 3 top netas or the mantris or from the government have made allegations against him, he should be allowed an opportunity to respond on the floor of the House. The Congress party continues to rake up the Adani issue, saying it's a matter of corruption and quid pro quo.
Very good evening. I would inform or rather make Rahul Gandhi remember through you that when he had been elected as the MP of Wayanad and had entered into the Lok Sabha on the first day, he had to swear by the Constitution of India. And the oath was, as I'm saying right now, I'm just, quoting the oath. He had said, I elected as member of the
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we pick up an issue which matters to you and me, and also the coming generations. Have you heard of ChatGPT? OpenAI. Phenomenal. You ask it a question and it will give you answers. It doesn't stop there. You ask it